Hello everyone, it's Belladonna again, and Madam Weaves here to talk to you about 5 things we love about the film Clive Barker's Nightbreed. 1. Danny Elfman. Now we all know Danny Elfman, primarily Tim Burton movies, of course, The Simpsons, many other things. He's had a very storied career, and of course, Boingo Boingo. But what I find interesting about this, when you listen to it, you do hear some of the traditional Danny Elfman sounding cues. You know, the evil marching band a little bit, the sort of sound he has, his trademark, if you will. But I love that this actually fits this movie quite well. It's very dark, of course. It's very sensuous in its own right. I feel it has a little more unique quality than a lot of his other ones do. You know, many of the Tim Burton ones, they seem to kind of go together. A lot of them do. I think this one, it's not one that I hear talked about very often, unfortunately. I think within his film scoring career, this still is one of the finest film scores he's done. It suits the movie so beautifully. It sets the mood so beautifully. And even though it is very Danny Elfman, it stands out in its own right. And I think people should look into this score a bit more. It's very, very good. 2. The set design. Now, this is a film that unfortunately did not do well commercially, but a lot was put into it. This was the largest set design of its kind. They created the world of Midian. Midian is a biblical name, but this is not a biblical land by any means. First, the cemetery above ground. Really awesome, the vibes of New Orleans indeed. And the world below ground. If you've not seen it, I don't want to overdo spoilers and whatnot, but my God, the world of Midian above and below was a massive undertaking. And it came together so beautifully. And this is a director's cut. Now the cut-up version, the theatrical version, it showed only a fragment, and there's a little more shown in this. I've often heard there's even more footage that exists, probably lost, of this massive and amazing world of Midian that was created. Now you don't see that as much now. They'll make sets and whatnot. There's a lot of CGI, of course, and everything, which can be fine. But I can only imagine what it must have been like to even worked on this set, whether creating it and building it or acting in it. Help me. The world of Midian came to life in a way that very few other films, especially of this era, could really so amazingly do, and on such an epic scale. I believe at the time the largest, maybe still one of the largest of its kind. Midian came to life, if you really want to believe that sort of thing. 3. Going on top of the set design is the makeup design. You see, this is another undertaking that was massive on scale, more than I think any other movie up to its point. That there are so many creature effects, character effects, makeup effects done for this film that you don't even get to see them all. There's so many, and again, there may be a good deal of lost footage, unfortunately. But I used to have a book, I think I still have it somewhere, that detailed a lot of these little characters' storylines. Some of them were the ones that were very prominent, others were background, you barely saw them. And they had entire storylines built for them. Can you imagine being on that set? You're in the world of Midian, and there are all of these Nightbreed around you. The various creatures, the deformities, the bizarreness of it all. The various production stills and whatnot that I've seen of it on top of the film itself and whatnot. When I first saw this, I was very young, and I didn't quite know what I was seeing yet. I hadn't read the book already, and I saw it, and it affected me deeply. It stuck with me. All of these creatures in this beautiful underground world, freaks, if you like, hiding from those above. Not because they're devious monsters, well, some of them might be, but because they're terrified, and they need a place to escape to. place where all the sins could be forgiven. Midian, created beautifully, and the makeup of these creatures, if you like. There's very, very few things that quite rival it. Number 4, David Cronenberg. Now, David Cronenberg has done some acting here and there, true enough. He's not usually known as an actor. He's one of the greatest directors right up there, I think, with Mr. Lynch, Mr. David Lynch. However, David Cronenberg was chosen to play Dr. Decker in this film, the therapist, if you like, and an antagonist character. I don't want to give away too much if you've not seen it. Many of you may have. Please just see it. His interpretation of Dr. Decker is amazing. It's so chilling. He brings his own brand of ability to this role. I believe Mr. Barker asked him directly to do this, and my God, it was amazing that he did so. Because it's chilling, unnerving, and at the same time, somewhat likable in a weird way. David Cronenberg is a visionary of film, apparently in more ways than one. Dr. Decker is the show stealer of this. I mean, he just was the character. He brought so much to it. And that mask of his, gotta get me one of those. And number 5, of course, Mr. Clive Barker himself. Clive Barker, of course, wrote the source novel CABAL. After I saw the movie, I ran to the library to get CABAL. And though there are differences, of course, what a wonderful story. He is an amazing storyteller. I mean, I have never read anything of his that I thought, was no good. There are very different things he does. Some of the most disturbing horror you're going to read, but also some of the most beautiful dramas you're going to read, even wonderful books for children. I mean, Nightbreed, CABAL, Weave World, and then The Thief of Always, and then all of these great children's stories. So talented is Mr. Barker, but he really took the reins of film horror of the 80s and 90s at this point. Hellraiser, of course. I live and breathe Hellraiser, ladies and gentlemen. And Nightbreed. It was very ambitious. It did not go over well. And luckily we were treated to the director's cut much later on. My goodness, Clive Barker, his visions of horror are amazing. You know, Stephen King, Clive Barker are two of my favorite writers, especially for a horror genre. But Barker, as it says in one of his collections, knows about tapping the vein. And the thing about Nightbreed is his creation here is that he created something both terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Not an easy thing to do, especially from the guy who made Hellraiser and Rawhead Rex and all that. But he brought his vision to life. It's a shame that the public and the powers that be did not seem to get it and understand it. And it's wonderful that they're finally coming back to it.
After all, we all need a few friends to get us through the night.
Now that's our look at 5 things we like about Clive Barker's Nightbreed. 2 paws up indeed, yes, one of our favorites. Monsters that are beautiful. Madmen that are heroes. Now yes, we all need a few friends to get us through the night. Until next time.